We're here at the 2024 Classic Motor Show at Birmingham's NEC, and I'm here with someone who celebrates the average, champions the unusual, the underdog. Of course, it's Ian Seabrook, Mr. HubNut.
Hello.
So we worked on some hobby projects like Retro Japanese magazine.
Yes.
And you helped us launch Classic Jaguar.
Classic Jaguar.
Rolls Royce and Bentley Driver. You got us off the ground with. So
it was a very busy time, and that was a time where I was starting to think, I don't know if this freelancing's going to work. It was so hard to get regular work. You're pitching ideas around, but one change of editor, and suddenly you're cut off, and there is no work. So I'm starting to think, well, maybe that was my run. Maybe that's it. So I started a blog called Classic Hub in 2011, so just after we'd moved to Wales, and that was a chance for me to write the stuff I wanted to write about the cars I wanted to write about, but too often they're not covered in the classic press because it's not an MGB or a Mazda MX-5. There are commercial pressures to talk about certain cars, and so, well, I'm going to talk about Mazda 323s and so, you know, the rarer Volkswagens. I don't want to talk about Golf GTIs. So that's how that came about, and that got to the point where I managed to blag a Nissan Leaf as a test car in 2013, and I thought, well, this is an amazing experience, an electric car. I think I need to record this. So I got some camera gear, which I think I even borrowed from you, because we were experimenting with video early days.
That's right, yeah.
At Kelsey. And I filmed me driving a Nissan Leaf, and that is video number one.
That is
on the
number
channel.
one on HubNut, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
The digital thing was still quite in a fledgling state, sort of late noughties.
It was, yeah, and certainly the monetization of it didn't really exist. I think YouTube was launched in 2007, but I'm not sure when their idea of actually paying people to create content came in. It certainly wasn't really on my radar. When I first started the channel, I didn't do it for, I wasn't even thinking about income because I didn't know there was an income.
With your own channel, your own website, you can champion all that stuff, the weird and the wonderful.
Yeah, and that's very much how it's developed into where it is now. But yeah, I think I had monetized the channel around the time we started working together, but it took 9 months to earn £60.
Did you have an idea in your head how HubNut would develop? Did you sort of, when you sort of sat down and said, I'm going to do a video on a Nissan Leaf or a Nissan Bluebird, that I think was the second video, have that for a contrast, you know, both made in Sunderland, but well, actually your one wasn't, yours was a Japanese one.
Yeah.
But, you know, that in a way that was the spectrum that you were covering, the sort of the mundane stuff in the form of the Bluebird, and maybe burgeoning stuff like the electric, and you've always had a bit of a interest in that.
That's why the name Classic Hub was not working, and it was like, well, I need a new name that's more representative, and somehow I think I was having a battle with a HubNut on my BX at the time. I was just like, well, that works. It's still got the bit of Classic Hub, but HubNut just seemed to fit and work, and it's been such a great name to have because it's so instantly memorable.
Well, it is, and the logo is very distinctive. Everyone, I think,
which I knocked together in about 5 seconds.
There we are, but it works. You know, it's absolutely.
Keep it simple does actually work.
You did go through a difficult year, and you didn't mind sharing it. I mean, that's the thing I find fascinating.
You kind of have to, because Rachel had appeared on the channel before. I thought, well, I've got to keep people informed about what's going on. You feel incredibly indebted to your audience, and they buy into your life so much. They know more about your life than you do. Speaking to people at the show, certainly. So, yeah, you feel you owe them something. I mean, you always want to keep a bit back because we all have private lives, and we don't want to share every single detail. Especially now I've got children in my life, you have to be a bit more careful about what you're sharing. But yeah, I felt I owed it to people to explain that. So I think I filmed it driving around in the Invagar.
Well, when you talked
just saying this is a new phase in my life.
Did you find that sharing those life moments actually helped? Were there nice, reassuring, supportive comments, for example?
A massive help. So when I was on the New Zealand trip, perhaps unsurprisingly, I had a bit of a meltdown in about the November. So I'd been on the road a month on the other side of the world, never imagining that would happen. And when I went to New Zealand, I booked 2 nights of accommodation, and that was it. After that, I had no idea where that trip was going. It was not really planned. It was just somebody would message me and say, I've got a nice car, do you want to come here? And I'd go, okay, I don't know where there is, but I'll make my way there. And people were putting me up in their houses. They were feeding me, they were showing me their towns. They were so proud over there that I'd made the effort to go and visit. But they did amazing things for me. It was just like, yeah, borrow my cars, take them wherever you want. It was incredible. But in my haste to go and interview the rally driver Hayden Padden, because I'd met a friend of his mother, I ended up rushing a lot around the South Island of New Zealand, and I just pushed myself too hard. I was being offered so many cars to test. I was trying to drive them all, doing 3 or 4 tests a day, and also trying to cover vast mileage, and I absolutely broke myself.
You burnt out, didn't you,
yeah,
basically?
And I ended up making a vlog about that.
How do you think the channel has evolved over those 10 years, and where do you think it goes next?
Oh gosh, how has it evolved? I mean, there's never at any point been a plan. I didn't plan to get the Invacar. I didn't plan to bring... Well, I suppose I did plan to bring the Ford over, but that was a hope. I didn't think I'd ever be able to afford to bring the Ford Fairmont from New Zealand. That was just a very daft lockdown idea of a tax refund permitted. So, yeah, actual planning doesn't really happen. So, yeah, it's just evolved all by itself, really.
So your long-term plan is just to get home tomorrow or something?
I suppose in some ways YouTube isn't the publisher, it's me now. So there is a certain amount where I will go, oh, well, I need to do something that will get the numbers in, because the income is so very, very variable. It can vary by thousands of pounds a month, comparing a bad month to a good month. So there's that sort of pressure. But at the same time, even though I've been doing this for 11 years, I don't know what I'm doing at all. I can't tell you whether a video I'm making is going to be big or is going to be an absolute damp squib that no one's going to watch. I have no idea.
What car stays on the fleet? What car stays on the fleet?
Oh, the absolute keeper's the Invacar, probably, just because it's the darling. Even though it's doing so few miles a year at the moment, people still love it. They're always commenting on it. The 2CV, which I've owned now for 24 years, probably drove me to my first day at work at Kelsey Publishing back in the day. In fact, it was in my profile picture in the newspaper.
It was.
So yeah, the 2CV has just been through too much of my life.
Ian, it's been a pleasure. Good luck with the rest of the show. Hope 2025 brings you good fortune. And yeah, best of luck with Russell and all that sort of stuff. So yeah,
thank you very much.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for your time.